Hello everybody, oh wonderful to be here. Happy autumn equinox everybody, and because of the celebration of the festival of Mabon, in whatever ways people want to do it, I thought I would return to sort of a little bit more of an eco-pagan type imagery using the runic cards in order to do a quick reading for you today. Why choose the rune cards? Well, I like them. I don't quite get the same thing from the imagery and the artwork as I do just from hewn stones with like letters which are carved into them, which I find much more mythical, traditional. It's got that kind of like earthy feel to it. Even some of the more new age appearance rune stones, which are made of like rose quartz and stuff like that, they still have that sense of something rugged and something elemental. And when it comes to painted artwork, we're kind of like using the ideas differently, because it's just the product of somebody's mind which has helped to create the artwork itself. In some respects that's a problem, and it means that you end up perceiving the rune cards more like you would perceive tarot, which means you're not just divining from everything you've read into the original runic letter. What you're doing is you're divining into the artwork and into the experience of shuffling and into the experience of seeing what little details from the cards themselves could then talk to you. So therefore, perceptually, it is a different experience. And when you're approaching it, it's like when you're approaching different types of art. You approach it in a different way, you see it in a different way, you treat it in a different way. So when they created these things here, they created essentially a completely distinctly different type of oracle type device. But either way, the rune cards have now been shuffled very thoroughly, and I'll do a quick 3 rune card spread and see whether we can get some interesting and informative messages coming on out here for you. Right. Strongly full of a message of bounty, strongly full of a message of receiving an awful lot. But there is something about this combination which kind of like reminds me of the season. Isa, slowing down, cold, literally like an icicle, literally like something that was flowing and is now stopped flowing because the energy has been taken from it. That reminds me of the feeling of winter. Alright, we're at the autumn equinox. I think we're anticipating, the coming of winter and putting on the heating, or not, as the case may be in the cases of many people out there in the world. But then we've also got these other stones, these other runes coming out here. The Legu, or Legus, as they've written at the bottom of this card here. I don't know whether you can see that. Does deal with things like the ocean, but also brewing and also drinking and conviviality with people. We're all looking forward to doing that as we go through Halloween and Thanksgiving and Christmas. And of course both the pagan festival of Yule and also the atheist festival of human light on the 23rd of December. There's an awful lot of drinking and consumption which is going to happen. And this one, Yarrow, refers to the turning of the year, which is much more of a sort of like a midwinter thing, if you get my drift. But if you think about it, Halloween's coming up, and Halloween is the turning of the year within the pagan circle. But it's also, from the artwork within the card, it's to do with abundance. It's to do with naturally occurring food and feasting and a sense of celebration and commemoration of the passing of the past, and also looking forward to approaching the future when you're feeling nourished. So there's lots of ways in which the combinations of these symbols, of these ideas, could be applied to what we're about to go through the autumn, through the winter. And I would say that there's something interesting about this, and the fact it's looking forward. There's no sign here of, oh my god, I really wish I hadn't done that. There's no signs there associated with, wasn't it terrible in the past? It's much more to do with, let's take from the past what we can, and then look to the next stages of life. Okay? Taking the nourishment that we can, taking the nutrition, spiritual nutrition, intellectual nutrition, ideas which we have learned, the ways in which we've grown up to today's date, and to use this from a position of moving further forward, and also not forgetting that which is important. The Yarrow rune, very much to do with eating with people, very much to do with getting on with people and the people who are important. The Legu rune, much more to do with convivial celebration with people. This is not something you're doing alone or in isolation or in contemplation. This is an awareness that, this is the time of year when we do slow down and we do start to process things differently. But we've also, no matter how old we are, we've got a lot to look forward to, and there will be changes and new ideas coming, and a general sense of progression and ideas in life as we carry on with the process of growth and understanding can really create like new paths forward in terms of our identity. I did some meditation recently in which I saw all of my self-development as being like, and of course that's what happens if you don't charge up your batteries properly. Okay, now as I was saying, I was doing this like self-developmental meditation recently, and I was kind of like viewing my life like a tree, and it had lots of little branches going out in different directions, and they were all like overlapping with each other and contorting with each other, and each one of these branches of the tree was kind of like a different path of thinking, and it changed direction with the passage of time as like a new experience, a new idea, or maybe a new trauma came along which adjusted the way in which I perceived things, thereby making my perceptions something which grow over time. Okay, but this particular season, whether it's the festival of Mabon or whatever you want to call it, this autumn equinox, this transition, just this moment when you're watching this video, it's probably a very key time to look back over your self-development, to look over the forces which made you, and try and work out which ones have given you good ideas, which ones have given you not so good ideas, and trying to work out what other forces you can bring into your life to help create a better quality of future for yourself. Basically working, as it were, magically, so to speak, with the ideas which are driving you forward. Now, I don't know if that makes any sense to you or not, but that's kind of like the feeling I got from these 3 rune cards, and how they kind of like overlap and interact with the idea of the here and now and the present, and what we should be thinking about, and the things we need to be grateful for. Because gratitude, I mean, when you do have like a nice meal with someone, that should be a pleasant experience, and you should be able to have a great quantity of gratitude about that. But sometimes we can even lose sight of some basic things, because we all get wrapped up in the various different problems and issues and pains that have been dominating us for a long time in our lives. Like, maybe it would be worthwhile treating this time when you've seen this reading as being an opportunity to like work out what and who you want to be in the future, and steadily work towards it. Hope that makes sense. If it does, leave a comment in the comment section. If it doesn't, leave a comment in the comment section. There's a theme here. Also, there's a bell there which you can click. There's a thumb up thing which you can also click, and there's a subscribe button which you can also click, and you'll get much more World of the Weird and spiritual inspirations from me with the passage of time, because that's what I do. Peace out, tranquility, and all will be well.